Preferences will allow you to set your screen to personalize it for your design needs. Um, One of the things you will notice on my floor plan is at the bottom I have renamed the floor plan layers. You'll notice the all layer, but the second layer that used to be all no dimensions I've changed to notes. Then the third layer I made into molding, then hardware, then countertops. If I go back to any of these tabs and double click, the display tab will populate, which allows me then to change that name to whatever my needs are. In this case, notes. When I say OK, you see how it populates, and this is how these layers will remain. I know personally that I need to print this page, this page, this page, etc. to meet my customer needs. So if I go back to the all layer, we can also set up some preferences here, and if you've ever seen a floor plan that looks something like this, it's absolutely a mess. So what I'm going to do is zoom in and share with you how we can make some changes quite easily. If I right click, go to display settings, and of course we're on the all layer as the menu states, I'll move this over. We have various tabs to go through. One of the first things I will do, kind of out of sequence, but so it's easier for you visually, I will turn off the display settings, or warning patterns, I'm sorry, and then go back to the items tab. Under the items tab you have three categories: general, residential, and closet. If I double click residential, keep in mind that's the same as clicking the plus box to get to the subcategories. And so for cabinets and vanities and bathrooms and appliances, etc., I want to change my font so my cabinet codes are going to be easier to read and see. So I highlight the word, go to font, and I like to use Tahoma. So if I just type in a T, it will take me to that alphabetical listing. I make the selection. It will populate in the sample box. I make it bold. And if you look at the size, 8 is the smallest font. But if I click in the window, I can make that anything, and I choose 7. So Tahoma, bold, size 7, black, and this is how the cabinet codes will look. So when I say OK and apply, and you look to the right, you can see how those cabinet codes are now much easier to read on my floor plan. Also, under the General tab, Plan Elements, double click, Notes, I can go over and change the note as far as the font, and these will be those things that you add to your footprint for installation or whatever your needs are. Arial, I'm fine with. I would change it to bold. Size 8 is good, but the navy blue, I'm going to change that and make it black. The sample box illustrates. I'll say OK. And if I were to apply and had notes showing, you would see that change take place. On the second layer, dimensions, we have user dimensions, and user dimensions are those that you use in the menu at the top. Under dimensions, where you go from line to line, point to line, etc. And the rest are, on the illustration here, auto dimensions. So I'll double click, and here's my philosophy. Under residential, I have all these items, but if I have a cabinet size illustrated, I don't need additional dimension lines, so I turn those off by removing this check mark and applying. And now you'll see it gives me the overall length of wall number 1 plus the center line. The center line, here's the overall length, the center line for the symbol. So if I go to the General tab, Plan Elements, and here's Symbols, I can turn these off also. And now you can see all I have is my overall parameters of my footprint. If I click on the word auto dimensions, go to font, and I like to use Georgia, so I type in a G, go to that alphabetical listing, make it bold italic, and I'll take it down to size 9, and you can see the sample box. I will make it black, and when I say OK and then apply, you can see how it changes the parameters here on the screen. Now notice that the architectural ticks are blue, so here under color I just choose black, apply, and now you can see the architectural tick and the new parameters for my dimension lines. Third layer is your display with the grid. I think that's fine. We've already turned off the warning patterns. Hidden items. If you have a population of numbers here in this field or frame, these were populated when these were either deleted or hidden. So anytime you hide or delete a dimension line, they will always repopulate here under this Hidden Items tab. So this is the hiding place. Legend is another feature we'll discuss in another chapter. So it's prudent for us now to save this scheme, so I'm going to save as. And I'm going to name this floor plan because I train on this computer a lot. You would typically just override the 2020 all items layer. So I'll change to floor plan, save that, say OK, and now this will be my new floor plan look. Much cleaner and much easier to see, read, and when I print it out, it's going to be much cleaner. If I go over to the second layer, notes, I would right click display settings and go through that same procedure. And basically all I've done here under residential is remove the display, the cabinet codes, because remember it was all no dimensions, so there are no dimension lines showing. Once we do that, one of the other things that we want to talk about is 3D settings. And if you look at the graphics here on the cabinets, and let me bring another one over. Let me just bring over a base 30. I type it in. If I bring over a base 32 drawer, put it on the floor plan, and zoom in on it, you see the cabinets are showing three-dimensionally. These will also show three-dimensionally if we add them to a working elevation. You can see also that in the KraftMaid catalog, the door overlay is full overlay automatically, and that will change once you declare door style. You can see the front frame, the end panel, the I-beam, and here are the two drawer boxes. And remember, in the KraftMaid catalog also, if you right click and go to specs, our spec book will populate and take you to that page and show you where we are. So I want these to be constant. So now if I go over to File and Preferences and go to my display tab schemes, you will notice that since I have renamed these various layers, they repopulate in my display tabs. And you'll notice that I changed from 2020 all items, which is the default, to my floor plan, and apply that, and that will continue to populate as we go through. If we go down, there's several other things that we'll cover later, but if we go down to overall settings, room textures, walls, construction lines, we've turned off using this, the work area. Here's where we want to go. Display tab, we want to put a check mark to display 3D shapes on the floor plan and elevation. Say OK. And so now when we have cabinets drawn, we're going to have these 3D visuals. So now I can delete this, come back over and show you my floor plan. And as I go through, I think I have a much cleaner presentation piece for my customers.